I used to stress about pests so much. I was losing sleep. Girl, over what? A little bug on my plant? My plant care looks completely different than it did a year ago. I used to stress about everything. I used to propagate every cutting, compare myself to others, and try to create perfect conditions. And honestly, it was exhausting. So I changed everything, and now plant care actually feels fun, like it's supposed to. Today I'm walking you through exactly what changed, why I changed, and how it's made me a better plant parent. So grab yourself something cozy, get comfortable, and let's talk about it. I used to constantly propagate my plants. At one point, I probably had around 1,000 Pothos cuttings because I felt bad throwing them away. Every cutting was a potential new plant. And I had this idea that if I throw plants away, I am being a bad plant parent. But having 1,000 Pothos plants is just not sustainable. Although I love Pothoses a lot, it's just not possible for me to take care of so many plants, so many cuttings, and I've learned to let go. Nowadays, when I take propagations, I take them with a goal in mind. It's either to restart a plant from those cuttings, give it to a friend, or to fill out the mother plant and make it look more bushy. But I'm not keeping and propagating every single cutting. And although a little bit of that guilt still lives within me, I just remind myself that I am not growing any exotic plants. I'm not growing plants that are near extinction. I'm growing regular, degular houseplants that you can buy at a big box store. So even if I lose the plant, I can most likely replace it very easily. I don't need to constantly be propagating my own plants in order to have backup. And throwing away cuttings can be so freeing and liberating. So if you have never thrown away a propagation, I highly recommend you start doing so. You're gonna thank me. The second thing, and this one was really hard for me, I stopped trying to create perfect conditions for my plants. There are a lot of care guides out there on the internet, and they are great. They will tell you what humidity, what temperature, what lighting a certain plant requires. And those tips are very helpful. Trying to recreate that environment for every single plant was stressing me out. And quite frankly, it was impossible. I was putting this impossible task in front of myself and I just couldn't deliver. I was so obsessed with using tools like light meters and humidifiers in order to perfect my plant care. Spoiler alert, those numbers don't mean a whole lot. Even if you and I have the same exact plant, they can perform drastically different in our unique spaces. So what did I do? I stopped looking at the numbers. Plants are smart and they will tell you when something is wrong. So nowadays, I look at my plants. I let them tell me what they're missing. Yellowing leaves, root rot, crispy edges, all of those are signs that your plant may not be in optimal conditions. And here's the thing. Achieving optimal conditions in our indoor spaces is extremely hard. I want my plants to be part of my decor, of my interior design. I don't want to be living in a greenhouse. And something else that I figured out is that plants are a lot more hardy than we give them credit for. They aren't that sensitive. And I am managing to grow 100 plants just with the power of observation. Once I accepted the limitations that I'm working with, and once I started keeping plants that actually thrive within those limitations, both my plants and me are a lot happier. Now, the bane of every plant parent's existence is pests. I think we can all agree universally that they are the absolute worst. And this plant hobby would be so much easier, so much more enjoyable if there weren't pests. I used to stress about pests so much, to the point where I was losing sleep. Girl, that's not healthy. That is crazy. Why did I let it get to that point? Over what? A little bug on my plant? Now I get it. Pests are annoying. And especially if you have a big infestation, it can feel very discouraging. However, my approach when it comes to pests is that they are just a living being. It is in their DNA. It is what they were born to do. And yes, it sucks that they want to attack our indoor plants. I can't be mad at them for trying to survive. Ultimately, isn't that what we're all trying to do? Our plants are trying to survive. We are trying to survive. And so are they. They're just a part of this hobby. If you have a large collection, there will probably come a time that you will have to deal with pests. And my advice to anybody dealing with pests is to just breathe. It's gonna be fine. Your plants are a lot more resilient than you give them credit for. Do your best, try to eliminate them, but don't lose sleep over it. And realize that you will probably never be able to have a completely pest-free collection. I think that is one of the biggest online myths. Everybody thinks that having no pests in their collection is the goal, and that having pests in your collection makes you a bad plant parent. But that's not the truth. You're not a bad plant parent just because you have pests. And the sooner you realize that, and the sooner you let go of that pressure of having a pest-free collection and just accept the fact that pests will happen, the sooner you can actually enjoy this hobby to the fullest. A couple of weeks ago, I actually made a video about the overconsumption in the plant care hobby. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it down below. It is actually a pretty good topic and there was a lot of great discussion in the comments. So thank you for participating. I loved hearing your thoughts and opinions. I talked about buying and collecting plants in that video. And my next point that I want to talk about in this video is how I used to collect all of the plants. If I saw a plant that I didn't have in my collection, I had to buy it because I thought that in order to be a good plant parent, in order to have a good collection, you needed to have all of the plants. I needed to catch them all like Pokémon. And all that has happened is I ended up with a bunch of plants that I didn't like, that I didn't take care of, and that ultimately ended up dying. Was that necessary? Of course not. But I was influenced by the internet. I was influenced by all of these people having these huge collections. And I thought that that's what I need. I soon realized that that is not realistic for me. Now I am smarter and now I know that 100 plants is my cap. That is my max. And I also don't view myself as a plant collector anymore. I just want to be a plant parent. I just want to enjoy this hobby. I want to have the plants that I truly love in my space. I learned which plants I love, which I don't. I'm content with the number of plants that I have, and I always strive for quality over quantity. The last thing honestly kind of hurts. This has almost ruined my love for this plant hobby. Comparing myself to others and being envious of their collections. I used to look at all of these amazing growers online and I saw their collection, their plants, and I thought, man, I am such a bad plant parent. My plants never look like that. Why can't I grow plants like X, Y, Z? I was putting so much pressure on myself by comparing myself to these people. And not only did that negatively affect me, it also negatively affected the way that I looked at these people. I didn't view them as great plant parents. I viewed them as something I'm supposed to be jealous of. And thankfully, I realized that that was a bunch of bullshit. And I realized that what I should be doing instead is be happy about them. I should look at their collection and realize how much effort and time they have put into their plants and give them a big round of applause because they deserve it. Taking care of a bunch of plants can be so difficult at times. We all know this. And I should not be envious of these people. I should look up to them. And my collection will never look like somebody else's. Your collection will never look like mine. And that is fine. That is how it's supposed to be. We are all supposed to have a unique experience with this hobby. Imagine how boring this hobby would be if we all grew the same plants the same way and we all just shared the same pictures. The key is variety. It's about learning from each other. For example, if you're growing a plant successfully and I am not, I should not be envious of you. I should learn from you. And that's what this is all about. It's about sharing our knowledge and our love for the plant care hobby. And once I stopped comparing myself to others, and once I stopped being envious of other people's collections, I started loving my collection so much more. Just because my plant collection doesn't look like anybody else's, it doesn't mean it's worth less. To me, my plants mean everything. And I love them just the way they are. Those are the 5 big changes that I made in my plant care hobby. I stopped propagating every plant. I stopped being obsessed with trying to create the perfect conditions. I stopped panicking over pests. I stopped viewing this hobby as collecting, and I stopped comparing myself. And the result? Plant care is fun again. As with any hobby, it's a roller coaster. There are gonna be ups and downs. But right now, I'm in a really good space. I love my collection. I am a proud plant parent, and my plants are thriving. And here's the thing. This isn't a formula. This isn't a how-to. Your journey is yours. It's supposed to be unique. Whatever works for you, apply it. Whatever doesn't, leave it behind. All that I am trying to do is share my knowledge, share my love for this hobby. I would love to hear and learn from you. Are there any changes that have transformed your plant care? Leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. I can't wait to read them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!